Hello everyone. It's now time for my 14th episode of my MathewV21688 Talkz. This time I'll be discussing the most recent race, which is the 450 class from Indianapolis. We moved east from Anaheim. And Ryan Villopoto coming through with the win. We had a very exciting race between the Young Guns and Kevin Windham. And I think the Ironman Award, if there is Ironman Award tonight, I would have to probably give it to Ryan Villopoto, because he and his mechanic had to work hard, especially after that crash in the heat race where Villopoto got together with Millsaps and I think Trey Kennard, who got switched to Honda to ride the 450. And Villopoto crashed in the first corner, like I said, but he also had some water coming out of his radiator, I believe. And there was a whole puddle of water on the track. Villopoto had to ride back to the mechanics area. And then he and his mechanic had to get the bike repaired. He got it repaired in time. Villopoto to start on the far outside. And that's also where two other riders had to start because of an incident that took place in practice. Now let me disassemble this. You already know who it is, but let me disassemble this and I'll show you the story. Ryan Dungey and Jason Lawrence penalized. Because look at this. From their incident together in the first 450 seated qualifying session, when Lawrence appeared to slow down and block Dungey from a fast lap, causing Dungey to lose his temper. Ryan and Jason must take the last gate pick in both of their respective heats in tonight's Indy Supercross. That kind of race, that kind of incident right there, makes me hate Jason Lawrence even more. Jason Lawrence has not really grown up since that. I'm sorry to say. I try to get back to the homepage. But let me put this back on. There we go. But anyway, that incident that Dungey and Lawrence had in practice, I just couldn't believe that Dungey had lost his temper over something like that. I haven't really seen him do that since probably the Orlando Supercross in 2007, when he wasn't allowed to be on the gate for the restart after a red flag incident. But quite honestly, for Dungey, if worse comes to worse, Dungey might even have a bike problem, just like Villopoto. And for Lawrence, I don't think he's learned anything since that championship that he had on the West Coast in 2008. And for Jason, he's just not really doing himself any favors this season. Because, as we all know, Jason Lawrence did not qualify for the main event at Anaheim 3, especially after he got out of jail just on Christmas Eve, just before Anaheim 1. But even with that jail sentence, J-Law really has not been doing a very good job this season. Even when he has his own team, he has Grant Langston as his teammate. But quite honestly, for Jason Lawrence, he's either got to quit racing or just start changing. And right now, he's picking the option of none at the moment. Especially with that incident with Dungey in the seated qualifier. But quite honestly, if I'm the AMA right now, I'd take the side of Dungey. Because it seemed like, from reading that, Lawrence intentionally slowed down and tried to prevent Dungey from having a good lap. which is exactly what the thing said. But, from my perspective, Jason Lawrence probably did that just for his own amusement. I just don't believe that. I don't buy into any of Lawrence's crap. But Lawrence, for last gate pick, I say good for you. Because, like I mentioned before, Jason Lawrence is probably the worst addition to the sport since Ron Lechien. Only Jason Lawrence doesn't smoke pot. But anyway, when the main event came along, I thought it was a big surprise to see Villopoto in the top 5, even on a start like how he got. He was the start position that he got. And also for Dungey with the start position that he got, and he was able to pull out a top 5 start. I probably haven't seen that since Grant Langston did that in the lights race in 05 at, I believe, St. Louis. He had to come to the OCQ as well. But I think it's nice to see Dungey back on the box. Too bad for Josh Hill, though. He came through with the 9th place. He's now 10 points off. Villopoto taking the win, Dungey 2nd, and Kevin Windham for his 3rd podium in 3rd place. Which is good for K-Dub because he has not had back-to-back podiums in a while. But quite honestly, I think what's got to suck for Dungey is the fact that the lappers once again got in the way of tonight's race. In the lights class it was Adam Chatfield. 450 class it was Kyle Chisholm again. This time it wasn't for an incident with Chad Reed like last year at Salt Lake City. But for Kyle, I don't think he's doing himself any favors at all either by just holding up everybody. As he intentionally tried to block Reed at Salt Lake City, and now he gets in the way of Dungey. But like I mentioned before, my dad was telling me that he doesn't think that the blue flags aren't working this year because we've already had 2 incidents in one night where the lappers had played a bad role in this. And the lights with Chatfield 450s with Chisholm. Quite honestly, if I'm the AMA right now, I'm looking at technology. But the question is, what can you use? Blue flags aren't working. They should probably put a blue light out there just to make sure that the riders see it and they look over and see that the leaders are coming. But anyway, I guess I have to wait till Atlanta to see. But quite honestly, we're getting close to some of the guys returning, basically Stewart and Reed. And hopefully we see a battle between the two before the season's done. Before Stewart's season is done, basically. With Stewart with that Samuel Yamaha Supercross only contract. But quite honestly, you gotta wonder when Dungey's gonna get another win. Because Dungey has not won since Anaheim #2. He had a 4th at San Francisco. He had a 6th at San Diego. And now to come through with a 2nd place, that's got to be a good mental boost for Dungey. He does stay in contention for his first championship, trying to become the first rookie since McGrath in '93 to win the Supercross championship in his first year. Quite honestly, I'm kind of hoping that Dungey does it. I haven't seen that happen since then, because I didn't start following Supercross until 1997. I have not seen it happen before. I've seen it in lights competition, but never in the Supercross class. Chad Reed's been the closest. But, speaking of Chad Reed, hopefully we see him back pretty soon. Well, that is going to do it for my 14th episode of my MathewV21688 Talkz. I'll see you guys for episode 15 from Atlanta. Bye-bye, everybody.